So we've got eyes and ears in the form of Alex Barth, 98.5thesportshub.com, joining us now down the line from Gillette. Hi, Barthy.
Hey, guys, I was told to extend an invite if you want to come down.
No, thanks.
Okay, Barthy. How'd Will Campbell look today?
Yeah, it was his roughest day of the 3 days in pads so far, and it was really one period that Caleb Von Chason got to him, beat him for a couple sacks, had 1-2 pressures in that as well. It was all Chason, who's been great, but Campbell, it's that outside-in move. That was, arm length aside in terms of the schematics. The big issue for him coming out of college was how he handles those sorts of moves, and it got him a couple times today. So he'll need to bounce back from that. He'll need to work back from that. But when they're in those more traditional pass sets, those more straight dropbacks, that's where you really wanted to see him. He steadied himself after the start, but, after 2 sacks, that's going to be the storyline.
So why does that outside-inside give him trouble? Can you explain that? Like, what is it about that? Because if it's not an arm length thing, I thought his feet were good. Is it about moving? Like, what's the issue?
It is a little bit of an arm length thing. It's not directly an arm length thing, like that your arm length doesn't prevent you from blocking that move, but we talked about this a lot during the draft. Right? He has shorter arms. That matters. It's not disqualifying, but how does he compensate? And some of how he compensates at times is he kind of cheats a little bit to the outside. So if he's cheating to the outside, the guy sets up outside, he buys, well, now the inside's exposed. So it's just something he's going to have to work on getting better at. His footwork's good, but it can be better. That's, faster footwork and just studying tape and recognizing more when guys are going to try to attack him with that sort of move.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Have I read more about him struggling than excelling? I mean, I've seen both. When he's in full 11 on 11, I feel the reports are better, or when he's in running situations, it's better. But then I heard Keon White ragdolled him, or Chason had a day against him. Am I sensing more bad than good with Will Campbell?
The bad, so I think if you were just add up the good and the bad, there's been more good plays. But the few times he's been beat pretty clean. So you mentioned that one-on-one with Keon White on the first day of pads. I mean, that was a dominant win from Keon White. After that, Will Campbell had a solid day, but it was about 50-50 because it was the first rep and it was against Keon White and all that. Same thing today. He had more good plays than bad, but it's that 4-play stretch where you have 2 sacks and a pressure. Because they're all kind of in a sequence there, I think it's a little emphasized. So that's also something he can clean up, right? If you're going to get beat, and he did have a nice recovery in one-on-ones in his second rep today. It looked like he was going to be beat initially, kind of shuffled his feet and got the guy back to the outside. That was against Keon White. But, when he gets beat, minimize it, because any lineman's going to get beat. What the really good ones can do, you get beat, but you minimize it and you recover.
Let me ask you something.
Sure.
Has anyone else been working at left tackle with the ones?
No.
Do you think, and now that just pops into my head, if they get an early read that he might not be ready for left tackle, he's a rookie. Okay, never mind the physical limitations. Do you think that they would pull the plug on him at left tackle early and not go through that, or do you think maybe to partly justify the draft position or their preseason plan, he's left tackle come hell or high water?
So I don't think so for 2 reasons. One, I think you got to see him against NFL talent. And I don't think they would make that switch before the season starts. Maybe as a quick hook come September if he has a rough camp. I think it would have to be really bad to make that switch. The other thing, I don't know who's replacing him. Like Vidarian Lowe's on PUP, and he obviously wasn't great last year. Yasir Durant got hurt yesterday. He wasn't back out there today. Marcus Bryant's a swing tackle. He's been mostly on the right side. That's kind of it for their left tackles. They don't really have anybody else. Like, this is an understated story at camp. Even if Campbell's good and gets hurt, I don't know who their backup left tackle is. They've kind of been rotating guys.
This is something I'm going to start thinking about.
Well, you make sure you go down there first.
That they're all in on Campbell and really have no one else.
No, I mean, so
you're right though, Jim.
But
thank you, Alex.
It's about the kid. Do you risk if he's not ready to play left tackle day one? And do you risk, ruining his confidence or sort of setting him back as a player?
Sure.
Because he gets off to a bad start on a high-pressure position. He's getting Drake May killed, or they're having to send extra protection over there on a regular basis. It's limiting the offense because there's always a tight end or a running back, et cetera. And, at what point do you say it's not worth it? Move him to guard where he's more comfortable, probably more suited. Let him get his feet, and if and go from there, as opposed to starting at left tackle if he's not ready. And I'm jumping the gun a little bit, Alex. I admit it, but
Is there at the very least?
It's something they should. I mean,
so-
if he's not ready, I don't know the point of putting him out there.
What I would ask back to you, and this goes back to kind of the theme of last year, you talk about his confidence and his progress and where he's at. This is all about Drake May. If whoever you're like, part of answering that question is who are you replacing him with? Even if you think he's going to struggle, if whoever you're replacing him with represents a significant drop off, does that prohibit you? Because it's really hard to answer that question without knowing who the backup left tackle is, and not knowing who the backup left tackle is in and of itself a problem.
Well, it feels like a lack of a contingency plan. Like it's just, the rookie's going to be fine. And I almost feel the same way at the quarterback position, Alex, because having been down, because I was down there. You saw me Saturday.
You were down there.
But, if a guy who got dinged up last year with concussions and they're going to let him run in Drake May, and maybe May struggles, but say he gets hurt, their backup is the Pastronaut, and Dobbs has looked awful, at least what I saw Saturday and from any report that I've read, right?
Yeah, he had a better day yesterday. Was probably his best day, but I have not been, I've been a little underwhelmed. Not that I had these super high expectations, but I've been a little underwhelmed compared to what I expected with Josh Dobbs. That's kind of a different one. We know that they wanted a different personality type there, a guy who was going to be more that veteran leader versus the young guy looking for more reps. The thing with tackle for me is, again, they just had such a long to-do list this offseason that it kind of got pushed down because they couldn't go get a guy. With Dobbs, it'll be interesting to see if he can come along a little more when they get into game action and he gets some chemistry down. But Joe Milton looked better last year than Dobbs has. I would say that.
Great.
Okay, Alex Barth joining us from Gillette at Patriots Training Camp. How about the rookie receiver? How about Henderson?
The rookie receiver, the rookie running back.
Sorry,
Henderson or Williams.
I always get that mixed up. Obviously,
Henderson's been really good.
Okay, I'm curious about the receiver. The
receiver.
Flashed early, Kyle Williams. What's he done since?
Yeah, running a little hot and cold. So he had that really good first day, was quiet for a couple days, had a few drops, came back today, ran a really good go ball, cleared DJ James off the line of scrimmage. Drake May dropped one right in the bucket. It's hot and cold. I think that's the way you put it. You want more consistency out of that role, but the flashes are impressive. We're going to have to see when he gets into game action. We see him against other players. The joint practices are going to be big for him, right? Against other NFL corners, guys that aren't going against him day after day and kind of picking up on his little tendencies. Can he beat those guys in the route? Because that's where he's going to win. He's not a guy that's going to win at the catch point. He's a guy that's going to win by creating separation down the field.
What about Polk? Has Polk built any momentum? I get this thing for University of Washington guys, as everybody knows, Alex.
His first day back out here was good. He caught a touchdown pass. He was feisty as a run blocker. Haven't noticed much from him the last 2 days, though.
Okay.
Carlton Davis. What's the story there?
It sounds like it's just veteran rest, load management. This is a guy that's dealt with injuries throughout his career. He usually plays at least 10 games every year, but he rarely plays 17, so it's these kind of nagging injuries. They seem to be into the veteran rest thing. Morgan Moses has been in and out of the lineup. Harold Landry got a rest day today. The fact he opened on NFI and then cleared means he passed his physical, so it's nothing serious. I wonder if there's just something lingering from last year that they want him to take his time coming back with.
Mazz didn't believe me yesterday when I was in the one chair, and I told him, you told me you think Javon Baker's having a sneaky good camp, right?
Lowercase g, good start to camp. He did have the catch of the day yesterday. He had a nice toe tap today. Look, most of it's coming against the second and third unit, but for him to get the reps with the first unit to prove what he can do, he's got to succeed against those guys. So I still think he's pretty far down the depth chart. I still think right now he's on the outside looking in, but credit where credit's due. I think he's done as much as he can realistically with the opportunities he's been given. And at the time, you contrasted it with Polk, who wasn't able to get on the field. It was just kind of an interesting way to look at those two guys who were drafted together.
So, Alex, let's leave Will Campbell out of it for a minute.
Yeah.
How worried should people be about the offensive line? Because now Bradbury's hurt too, right? Bradbury twisted a knee or something at the end of practice yesterday. And didn't they just pick up some kid from BC?
Yep, local guy, Dudley Mass, Alec Lindstrom. He wasn't out there a ton today. It's Ben Brown back in at center. Jared Wilson seems to have passed Cole Strange as the starting left guard. He was out there a ton today. I'm worried about the tackles. Morgan Moses is in and out. Where's he at? Obviously, Will Campbell is a rookie. He's got to come along there. The interior doesn't bother me a ton. It's the outside, especially the depth. When guys start dropping off, center oddly is the one place where they actually have depth, but Bradbury got hurt. Moses has been in and out. Yasir Durant got hurt yesterday. They lost City So today. They're already they're losing a ton of linemen. They already didn't have a ton of depth. We've talked about the tackle depth quite a bit. So I think if, as it stands right now, it's okay. It's not great, but it's better than last year. That can evaporate pretty quickly, though, because the depth isn't there.
I'm just telling you what I hear because I'm not down there, so I don't see it.
I don't know how much better it is than last year.
Me neither.
I don't know.
Well, at this time last year, we didn't even know who the left tackle was going to be, and the guy that ultimately became the starting right tackle was on the Denver Broncos.
Okay, but
like, it's more about me saying it's better than last year is more about how far away they were last year than where they're at right now.
Understood. So, but if they go from 32nd in the league on the offensive line to 30th, that I'm not going to consider that better than last. You know what I mean? They got to
fair. Like for me, if they can get into the top 20, that would be outstanding. If they can get to like 24, 25, 26, somewhere in there for the moves they've made, they were never going to fix the whole thing in 1 year. Again, they were so far away. But there is some semantics in it's better than last year. I don't think people realize quite how bad it was last year.
Alex, I was encouraged, and I have been encouraged by some of the coaching points, the teaching points that I've heard from Vrabel and others about Drake May when it comes to running. Be a passer, not a runner. Heard May say early in camp that's the thing he worked on the most in the offseason, focusing on being a passer, not a runner. We saw the clip in the documentary, encouraging him, cajoling him, be a passer, not a runner. Vrabel said many, many times he's got to protect the equipment and know when to run. So, like, that whole tone to me felt like they weren't going to be running Drake May, and I liked it. Yeah. And then I heard yesterday, I know you're limited in exactly what you can say, but then I heard yesterday they're running him around like an idiot. So what is this going to be?
I don't think they're going to – I don't think it's going to be Josh Allen running 10, 15 times a game. I don't think the number's going to be 0, but I don't think it's going to be double digits. I think it's something they'll do in spots. They'll pick their spots when they need an impact play. The running versus the passing thing, though, he's done a much better job of cutting down on the scrambles. And it's kind of a two-way street. If you can cut down on the non-designed runs and him taking contact you're not intending him to take, it opens you up to maybe running him designed a little bit more because he's not taking as many hits. So I don't think it's going to be 0. I think it's going to be more than last year. And frankly, I don't think the number should be 0 because his legs are a threat. It helps keep defenses honest. You want a little bit of that. But there is a happy medium where you don't want to go so far to the other side as well. Nothing I've seen, I believe it's going to be this, gross over-reliance on his legs, but I think they are going to be something that they go to here every now and then.
I just think, again, this isn't necessarily what's best for the team, but in terms of his development,
sure.
I think for his development, I would keep that club in the bag and just, it'll always be there. You'll always have it. I would overemphasize the other thing, again, just for the development part of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, if you have a 3rd and 1 for the game, break it out, right? 1st and 10 in a 21-point game, I don't need to see it. I am encouraged by how much he's cutting down on the scrambling, and he's talked about that. He wants to remain a thrower longer. Today was a great example. As bad as the offensive line was today, May did a really good job kind of navigating pressure, extending plays, continuing to look to throw. He had some chances to scramble that he didn't. He threw instead, completed passes. So that's a big part of it for me, too. It's not just the design runs. It's cutting down on the non-designed runs.
Okay, Alex. Appreciate it. Anything else from the assembled gallery here?
No, I just want to thank you for being our eyes and ears. So
I appreciate
it. Me too, Alex. You have no idea.
But anytime you guys want to come down, feel free to say hi.
We'll sit next to you. And let Bedard sit by himself in his chair on the hill by himself.
Yeah. On his perch. He has a perch down there this year with his binoculars. He's a little higher up. He's in a new area. He's got a nice setup.